Hey, I am Theresa Pondo, and you are watching Theresa Talks. You are welcome to subscribe, to like, and to comment. So I've been having talks lately, and I just feel like sharing more of my story. So this is how I stopped drinking. I used to drink so much as a teenager, and it wasn't like, oh, have a glass of wine type of drinking. It was like, have a bottle and finish it and another bottle and another bottle. It was drink to get drunk. So it was very, like, it was a reckless type of lifestyle that I was involved in. And things got worse actually when I had my son. So, and like, I remember one time I borrowed my sister's car and I went out. So I was around, yeah, I don't know, 15, 16, around those ages, maybe 17 actually. Yeah, so I drove, got my friends, picked up my friends, I think two of my friends, and we went out, we had a good night, and we all got pissed drunk, and then next thing I'm waking up and I'm at home, okay? I'm waking up and I have this terrible hangover and I'm thinking, how the hell did I get home? So I call my friend, I'm like, girl, who dropped me off home? And she's like, what do you mean? You dropped all of us and then you drove yourself back home. And I was like, what? Is the car outside? Is the car okay? And then I went outside and the car was fine. But that's the idea, that it was just that type of life, right? So anyway, fast forward to, I now enrolled into MCA, Malawi College of Accountancy, in 2013. So I went to boarding in Blantyre. And then 2 weeks, when I got to Blantyre, 2 weeks later, I had this terrible cough, right? So I went to the hospital, got some medication for my cough, but it was the weekend. And I was like, I want to turn up, let's turn up. But I didn't want to drink because I was on medication. So I didn't want it to, interfere with the meds. So I meet my friend outside campus and he's like, yo, man, I have this space cake, man. You should try it out. So space cake is like weed baked in cake, right? So you eat it and then it goes into your system and then you get high. And I'd never tried it, but I heard about it. And I was like, okay, maybe I can have some space cake. He gave me one. It was like a whole muffin, right? So I go back to my room and I was watching a series. I'm watching Suits. And then I'm munching on this muffin. And I get carried away. I finished the whole muffin. Like, it was massive, right? Anyway, 20 minutes later, nothing happens. I'm like still sober. So I went back outside. I'm like, yo, man, this stuff is weak. Give me another one. And he was like, whoa, chill. I'm like, whatever. So I went back to the room. I'm chilling. This was now 6:30. I'm watching Suits and everything. Next thing, like Harvey Specter's coming out of the screen. And I'm like, guys, what's happening to my eyes, right? And then they're swelling, like my eyelids are swelling. And then I look up and the wall is moving towards me. The other one is moving the other side. And man, and I got up, I'm like, this is crazy. And then my heart starts pounding and I ran back outside. I'm looking for this dude like I'm going crazy. And then I ran outside and the floor is moving and there was a pole. I'm trying to hold on to the pole. It's moving. Everything is moving in different directions. With alcohol, everything moves together. Like everything is synchronized, in order. But man, this was crazy. Now I'm scared and I ran back inside and then I met my friend and she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, girl, I just had some weed, and her head was this big, her head was massive. And she was wearing like a striped shirt, like white and black, and the black was like inside the white. Like my eyes were just playing tricks on me and I was like, this is it. I felt so sorry for myself. And then she's like, okay, let's go to my friend's room. We're going to chill there. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So we went to her friend's room and there were like about 4 girls. So every time I got paranoid, like my heart would race and then I would start seeing things, right? And then they'll all be moving in different directions at the same time and talking in high-pitched voices and laughing like witches. And I was like, stop laughing, because they're all like, and like, and I kept saying, stop laughing, keep quiet. And I'm shouting. And at this point, I know that, okay, like coordination 0, because I'm like, it was crazy. And I knew that right now I'm crazy. And I was like, this is how people feel. They're trapped, because I knew it, but I couldn't get out. So anyway, I calmed down and now I could see properly. But of course I was like, hi. But I texted my sister. I was like, yo, man, I've just had this space cake and I'm not feeling okay. So she called me. She's like, you need to go and sleep, right? So I told my friends, I'm like, okay, look, get me to my room. So she's taking me to my room. Okay, next thing, I'm seeing that she's morphing into a vampire. So, like, she was behind me, right? And then I feel her presence right here. So I look back and then she's back there. And I'm like, so in my head, I'm thinking, I'm going to beat this chick because she wants to kill me, right? So I walk towards her, like, to punch her. And then I'm like, okay, Theresa, calm down, because right now you're crazy. So she's obviously not a vampire. So I just hugged her because it was just awkward. Anyway, she takes me to my room. And then I get to my room. Next thing I'm seeing, I think 2 of my friends came from the other school, because there was a school very close to my school. And then I pushed them out of my room, right? And I locked my room. Next thing I'm seeing that I'm hallucinating, that I'm walking outside, I'm removing my clothes and people are coming, like everybody's raping me and all these things. People are taking videos and I'm screaming for help. So at this point, physically, like in real life, I'm screaming, right? And then I would come out of that and see myself like, okay, I'm in my room and I'm screaming, and then I'll go back into this thing and I'm hallucinating, and it was so bad. I'm like screaming for help and no one's helping. Girls are passing by, they're laughing, people are recording it, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? I'm screaming, I'm on the floor, and then next thing they take out knives, they start chopping me, and then they take out a hammer and then they start hammering me, and then like I'm just blood, and then they killed me, okay? And then my soul starts to descend into hell. And as my soul is descending, like chains were coming up above it to prevent it from coming back up. And I'm like, okay, I'm dead. You know, I accepted it. And at that point in real life, like I went to my bed and I just sat on my bed. I slept on my bed and I was like, okay, I'm dead and I'm in hell, and you know, it's because of how I was living or whatever. And then, so hell wasn't really like a fiery place. It was more like the rooms that we were in were like cells. So I was in my cell. So, and then I would hear a loud voice like swearing at every one of us, right? And then every sin I committed from when I was 3, 5, 7, everything, I could see it. And these are things that I really did. So every proud statement, whatever I did that was wrong, I could see it, you know? And then I could see people talking about me like, oh, she's so stupid. How can she get pregnant and then go to Blanta just to get raped and killed? You know, all these things. And I was like, wow, this is my situation. And then my phone started ringing. My mom was calling. So I think she was really, really calling me. But in my head, it was like, oh, she misses me. So because she misses me, I'm receiving a call, you know? So anyway, I picked up, but I couldn't speak. I don't know. I think I was just too high or something. I couldn't speak. Like she was asking me something. But anyway, so this went on for hours, because by that time it was like 7. It went on 8, 9, 10, 11, you know, until 12 a.m. Now I heard a knock on my door. So I get up, because I would come back to reality and then go back into this thing. So now I get up, there's a knock on my door, and I'm slapping myself. I'm like, am I alive? You know, and I was conscious. I'm like, okay, good. Now I go to the door, I open up, and it's my friends from the other school, and they're like holding my favorite alcohol at that time. And they're like, let's drink. I'm like, what? Like, I've just been to hell and back and you want me to drink? I was so traumatized. I was so horrified. I was so scared. And I was like, no, man, forget it. And they left, and I sat on my bed. I'm like, what just happened? Like, what just happened? Right? So it was from that moment that I was like, I don't want my life to take this direction. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want this, you know? So that's when I started to, when I was in Blanta, I started to see like everything that was wrong with me, you know, like how rude I was or whatever. And I started praying. I'm like, God, you need to help me. I want to become better. I want to change. This is not the life that I want to live. So I cut down drinking. Like I tried to stop, but it was hard because all my friends, like I would have friends that would come, hey, I'm in B-Town. Let's go out, this. And I would tell them, no, I don't want to drink. And they're like, but you're away from home. This is when you're supposed to be wild and everything. I'm like, no, man. And they're like, eh, and then tired. I'm like, I guess, you know. But I just wasn't feeling it. I would go out and I would just be sober. Anyway, fast forward, my sister was invited to a prayer meeting in Karonga, right? So she was like, oh, you should come with me because I don't want to go alone. So she was invited by a certain prophet that was a family prophet, like he would come home to pray with us. So we met 2 other men of God that side. And there were excellent prayers. It was really nice. And We came back. So now I was on holiday. This was in December. I was on holiday. So I was back home in Els with my family. Now, one of the prophets now told me that, okay, I'm seeing you involved in a car accident between January to March. So you need to pray, right? So, and then he also started like telling me I'm his wife and everything, and he liked me. So I was like confused, like, what's going on, you know? So I didn't take his message seriously. I was like, whatever. I mean, I did pray like a 2-minute prayer, God, you know, protect me in Jesus' name, amen. But I didn't really take my time to pray about it. So anyway, now January 30th, my friend from Malaysia was back in town, and we had done a song together before. So he was like, let's do another song together. So I'm like, oh, okay, man, cool. So he's like, okay, let's go for a drink up. You know, we should discuss the songs that we're going to do. So I was like, I'm trying to stop drinking, so I don't really want to be there. But he's like, no, please come. You know, this will be the last time that you drink. So I was like, fine, whatever. So he came and picked me up. He was with 5 of his other friends. So he picked me up, you know, went to a chill spot, and then we're drinking and everything. And we drank so much, like we mixed wine, we mixed vodka and another drink. I forgot what it was. And we drank so much, but we ended up dropping one of the other guys we were with. And then we continued to drink. Now at 5 p.m., my sister calls me, yo, where are you? You should come home and all these things. And I'm like, girl, you're not my mom. I cut the phone. I switched off my phone. And meanwhile, I didn't know that the prophet had told her that tell Theresa to stay home. She shouldn't go anywhere. Right? Anyway, switched off my phone. We went to another shop to buy another bomb and continue drinking. Now by 8 p.m. we're like, okay, let's go back home, whatever. This was a Thursday. Let's go back home. So we were dropping off the guy that invited me. So everybody's drunk. The person driving, every one of us. And I couldn't even see. Like I was so drunk. And I hadn't been that drunk in like months because I was like cutting down. So we're dropping off this guy. Next thing, I'm seeing the car is like in the air. You know, I remember that image and I'm like, guys, what's happening? Next thing, I passed out, right? So I'm waking up and my body is hurting. Like my bones, my legs are burning and my ribs and my mouth, I bit my tongue. And the first person I see is my sister. So I was like, where am I? You know, so she's like, you've been in a car accident. Hey, the tears that dropped, like I cried because I'm like, this was, you know, avoidable. I was told about this and I was just done, you know, and that moment on that bed is when I said, God, you can have my life, have everything. Totally. I give myself to you. I am done being scandalous. I'm done with this life, you know, and it was since that day, I haven't drank, I haven't been to a club, nothing. And that's how my life changed. And it's just amazing how your life can change in like, you know, and wow. And since then, honestly, like, I remember my sister, like years later, saying to me that you're literally a different person. Like the Theresa that I knew died in that accident. You are a completely different person. And it's true that if any man be in Christ, he is a new creation. And that is literal for me. And I've seen God's power. I've seen him work in my life. I remember saying to myself when I used to drink that, okay, if I stop drinking, what am I going to be doing in my life? You know, but God is doing so much in my life and things that I wouldn't have been able to do that time, you know, because it requires you to focus. It requires you to be sober and to be able to think and to be able to really put your all in what you're doing. So, yeah, that's my life story. I hope you enjoyed it. Be on the lookout for season 2 because this is the final episode of season 1. So thank you so much for journeying with me, for hearing my life stories, what I've learned so far, and every message that I've been bringing to you. Please, please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, press notifications, and just follow my pages on Instagram, Theresa Pondo, on Facebook, Theresa Pondo. And I really, really hope that the messages that I'm giving out to you guys are changing lives and are changing your life. Yeah. So this has been Theresa Talks. Light and love your way. Ciao.